Mike Moore Media, the first place to hear Rockingham County news and information.
I'm honored to talk to Jay Donecker, the mayor of Reidsville. He's on the line now. Hey, Mayor, how are you, sir?
Good. Good morning.
These are challenging, difficult times. Tell us how the city of Reidsville is adjusting with the continuing impact of the coronavirus.
Well, we're dealing with it at a number of different levels. To every citizen that is involved with our Code Red, we are sending messages out on a weekly basis, and now we're at the point of every 2 weeks because there's a lot of misinformation floating around about infection. So that's what I call the emotional level. Mm-hmm. At the revenue level, the amount of taxes that are still coming in and associated with the current budget, which is going to end the end of this month, there again, we've been able to hit all our projections. We are gaming our budget for next year, expecting to have some revenue decreases. But there again, our council is prepared to have to meet and flex with what the economy is going to throw to us. But as a city, we are maintaining all employee positions. We are still actively going out and recruiting industries and still trying to meet all the recreational needs that we can do for all our citizens, always staying within the guidelines of our governors.
Certainly. Well, it's a difficult time, I know, and it is challenging for sure, but everyone is adjusting with the uncertainty there. That's what's just out there. That's those unknowns. It's making it difficult to project, though, isn't it?
It is, but that also speaks to why we took 5 years ago. We took an extended period of time of determining who our next city manager should be, and one of the reasons that we took such a long time is many of the adjustments that we're going to have to make. You have to have a very strong leadership team, and it starts with the city manager. And I know at the time people were wondering why we spent a few more dollars and it took a little bit longer. But it's because of that time and energy we put in at that point. We have a management team at this point that I would say is better than just about any other city our size in the state of North Carolina.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
We're firing on all cylinders at the administrative level.
You certainly are, and just looking in from the outside, I see that on a daily basis. So I commend you and Team Reidsville.
Well, it starts with the council willing to spend the time and money to get the right person in place, and then supporting policies that can be continued year after year after year, and knowing where to focus our energies and where we need to accept what's been done in the past and continue that.
Yes, sir.
There's a real balance there.
Yes. Okay. I know we've had some demonstrations, protests, I guess, the label there recently. Give us an update on how that's been going.
Absolutely. First of all, everybody has to recognize that there has been an upswell throughout the whole country over the videotaping of the murder of George Floyd. That's right. That was tragic. It was unbelievable that a sworn officer carried himself in the way he did, and it's unbelievable that 3 others stood by and watched. All of those behaviors do not fit with the 21st century code of policing, period. We had a prayer vigil for peace and justice on Thursday, being led by the Ministerial Alliance and the United Ministers of Reidsville. There were probably about, I would have to say, maybe about 50 to 70 attendees. There was also a demonstration on the block of North Scale Street, but it had been properly applied for. We were able to we were allowed to close one block of North Scales for the demonstration to occur. And I would say at that one that I also attended with our Mayor Pro Tem, probably there were maybe 75 people, max, maybe 80, all using their First Amendment rights to express their disgust and their dissatisfaction with the murder of George Floyd. and that went off without a hitch, starting at noon and finishing at 4 p.m. So I think we have responded as a community appropriately. I want to let everybody know that the chokehold, you hear people saying ban chokeholds and all this and that. I can tell you that the chokehold is not part of the training of Reidsville PD, and that's been true for a couple of years. Mm-hmm. That is something which other departments have been slow to discover not the need for not using it, but based on there is a 21st century code of training which the police chiefs have created across the country, and our police department very much subscribes to that code.
Well, I know the Reidsville Police Department. I know what your chief is all about, and it again speaks highly for what's in place there in the city of Reidsville. I've got to mention it. I just don't know where this is coming from. This police defunding idea. Just your thoughts on that. I think I know already, but your comments.
Well, I think that's a poor choice of words. No, even the people who say defund the police, what is actually being said? So when I hear that initially, it's like, oh, fire all the policemen. We don't need them. Well, obviously, any society needs to have some type of law enforcement. There's no doubt about that. I think that where the people are saying defund, what they're trying to state is let the police officers do what they're trained to do, enforcing the law. However, we have underfunded our mental health. We have underfunded some of our domestic social programs in which we're putting our police in those situations to handle. And there are situations that could be better served by having mental health professionals or social workers becoming involved, with only the police playing a secondary role for safety and to protect everybody in the situation. I mean, we have to remember our police are sworn to protect and to serve. The idea of being a military force to come in and clamp down with martial law is not what a police department is being trained to do in this day and time.
Right. So out of all of this will come increased dialogue and community involvement in a lot of different areas.
Without a doubt. We have been a community that has embraced community policing for over 25 years. In fact, our council member, Hairston, is the one who was the person who began that under Chief Fessman's leadership many years ago. And we still have community groups that get together that interact with our police. We need more of our local community groups to interact with our police more than what we have. But we have embraced community policing. And you can tell when you deal with our Reidsville Police Department. I do have to say, though, that on Saturday, because there were other threats that were being possibly occurring, we had a significant mutual assistance presence by other law enforcement agencies in the county. And as mayor, I would like to thank every one of the municipalities and the county that provided law enforcement professionals, if indeed some of those rumors had proved true. So the RPD was certainly the lead element on Saturday and Thursday. However, there was a presence of the other municipalities through the mutual assistance agreement that we have.
Well, there again, it's everyone working together, that's for sure. And yeah. You know, and I think, I know, Sarah, your public information person, I think probably the first time I heard the term here locally, community policing, was connected with the Reidsville Police Department some years back.
Yes, and I guess I shouldn't fail to mention that Chief Fessman, who helped start this, became Mayor Pro Tem Fessman, became Mayor Fessman, and now is Councilman Fessman. Mm-hmm. So his influence, certainly, along with Councilman Hairston, has tracked the entire development of this. The subsequent police chiefs have embraced it, whether it was Chief Hunt and now with Chief Hassel. But Sarah Hardin, yes, is also part of that, of reaching out and communicating, because because the media has changed in how we can communicate with our community. And it's very important. And Sarah Hardin also plays a large part in this communication strategy.
She certainly does. And we in the media appreciate that, too. I know we have a prayer vigil that you and your counterpart in Madison, David Myers, and others working on for this Sunday. Let's talk a little bit about the prayer vigil at Rockingham County Churches at noon on Sunday.
Right. The request has come out from Mayor David Myers, and I agree with it wholeheartedly, that at the noon hour, our churches should all say a prayer. And in regards to this subsequent demonstrations and the whole impact of the cries for addressing systemic racism, and also in how everybody has to actively work for peace and justice. And so Mayor David Myers sent out requesting everybody to pass that out through the churches. And basically what we would like is each church to say a prayer. Say a prayer for those involved with our government. Say a prayer for ourselves. Say a prayer for our society. Say a prayer for those that feel that they're disadvantaged and probably are. And say a prayer for those that can help those that are disadvantaged. Prayer is the first step in bringing about change in our society, and that's what Mayor Myers would like us to begin doing.
Well, again, that is this Sunday at Rockingham County Churches. A number will be taking part in that for sure. Well, in the remaining a couple of minutes, Mayor, some closing thoughts you may have, please?
Just that we're in very interesting times, and that our city council, in association with our city administration, is addressing all these different items that are popping up. It's kind of like whack-a-mole at times.
Yeah.
But I want to assure everybody that we are addressing them in an appropriate fashion as needed. We don't have all the answers, but we're not afraid to reach out and ask for additional help where indicated. And stay tuned. We still believe that and know that Reidsville is a can-do city, and that we will address these issues like we have significant others that we've dealt with in the past.
Mayor, always a pleasure. Again, thanks to you and Team Reidsville, and it is a team effort for sure in all the good things you're doing, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks for the call.
Okay,
Thank you, Michael.
We'll talk again soon. That's the mayor of Reidsville, Jay Donecker, ladies and gentlemen. A number of websites you can go to for Reidsville. Let me direct you to this one, riseup.reidsville.com.